Okay, this is the tricky part, so I wanted to show you how it's done, and we're going to be folding the center points, and the first thing you want to do is we're going to move our orange strip out of the way, just fold it down like that, and this is our strip that we're going to work on. I cut a little point here just to try to make it easier, because it gets a little tricky to weave this end in. So what you're going to do is you have your right side of your fabric, I'm sorry, you have the right side of the paper, and you want to keep this side is going to just twist around just like this. Okay, so you have like a giant loop here, and you point it right through. Okay, and let me tell you, when you make this snip a point here, it makes all the difference in the world. Otherwise, you'll be fumbling around. And you're going to just pull this through, and as you can see, the blue paper is coming right out here. I'm going to pull this and continue to pull this, and then I'm going to try to shape the point here. And you can kind of do this a little bit with your fingers. Okay, and that's our first point. Okay, so now I'm going to work with the orange strip, and I'm going to just cut another. That worked really well. So I'm going to just have this. Okay, now I got to move my pink strip out of the way. Just fold it back like this. And then I'm going to do the same thing where I twist this into a loop and poke it right through. And sometimes the paper gets caught up on the previous. It's kind of mysterious how this happens, but it does. There we go. Here comes the orange paper. So if it's, I've done a few of these. I'm still nowhere near, I don't have my first 100 stars in, but it does get easier the more you do it. And each kind of paper poses its own unique challenge. This is cardstock. Okay, so we have a second point done. And now I'm going to just trim a couple points here. Okay, so now we're going to go for the pink. Okay, I'm moving the green out of the way and winding this, just looping it around. And now I have to make a little space so that pink can come out. And see, since you have a fold that sometimes these strips want to get caught in, you kind of have to try to guide it through. All right. Okay, so I have all 4 points. Actually, I don't. I have 3 points. It helps to be able to count carefully when you're doing this. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. One last point to fold. And this is definitely the most challenging part of making these stars. This is the part that kind of gave me fits. As you can see, I'm keeping things very PG in my vocabulary now. It is possible to learn how to do this. This is the part I struggled with my initial stars. So, yeah. So here we go. This is what it looks like now with the first 4 points completed. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing we did. We're going to just repeat it on this side. So it doesn't really matter what point you start with. Just trim. I would trim these because it does help a lot. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just hold my green back, fold it back and out of the way, and just fish the blue right through. And yeah, that point, making the point is a real time saver, let me tell you. That would have saved a lot of frustration the first time I did this. And if you're having trouble, if it's like some of this paper with the cardstock, it doesn't go into a point all that neatly. So what you can do is just kind of back it up a little bit and try to see if you can get the paper to cooperate a little better. Sometimes it gets hung up on the other point. And this blue is not really cooperating with. I want it to have a little bit nicer point there. So I'm going to try to. Yeah, this is definitely the real life version, folks. This is not a made to look easy version. It's a little challenging, and I want you to know that when you start, because it gets easier, but the first couple are going to may challenge you a bit. But I think hopefully this video will help, because again, when I'm looping through, the same side is what comes through. You want the same the top part of the paper to be facing up. And what might help you is if you work with some scrapbooking paper that is white on one side and has a print on the other side, that will help you be able to see what the right side of the paper is. And again, I'm just continuing to fold down a piece to get it out of the way, and then work with the piece I want to work with, tuck that in. I've made these so far out of cardstock, newsprint, and a kind of a tape backing, a fabric, or a paper that was a tape backing. And the tape backing was smooth and the easiest to work with. Newsprint was pretty cool to work with because I'm a reporter, so I like that. But it's definitely the weakest paper to work with. Okay, this is the final one. So you just loop this around. There's no paper to move out of your way, so you just tuck it in. And okay, so this is what you have. Now the very last step is just to trim your edges. And the cool thing about this project is you don't need glue. So you just trim your edges, trim off the extra paper, and it would help to use some scissors if you have some scissors that are a little, mine are kind of clunky here. So if you have some nice little pair that you can snip off the extra, that would be nice, but make do with what you have. No sense in buying a real expensive pair of scissors for this project. And the cool part about it is you can make these look totally different depending on what you end up using. Okay, and you can trim this up a little nicer later, but so there you have it. And what you can do is use a tiny hole punch a hole if you'd like, and string this up on, I like to use fishing line because that is clear and fun to use. So there you have it. I hope this goes very smoothly for you. Happy holidays.